Take a moment. All right, there we go. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to our monthly Entrepreneur Eco System coffee break, whatever we want to call it, somewhat monthly. I guess we do about 8 to 10 a year. My name is Carol Spicer. I'm with Spicer Facilitation, and today is November 13th, 2025. For those that haven't been on a coffee break before, just to give you a little brief background of where it sort of started and how we got to today. Back in January 2020, I started a pilot with Navigate Small Business to do a virtual coffee break. We've been doing a bunch of coffee breaks sort of in person in and about Corner Brook, and I thought not everyone can make the drive to Corner Brook, so let's try a virtual thing. So we tried it for 3 months as a pilot. We all know what happened in March 2020, and we're still here. So we're about to start our 7th year in January of the coffee break. And I'm absolutely thrilled to continue to offer it to anyone who wants to join. Little shout out to Terry Lynn that's on the call with us today, because I think she's been about 98% of them right from the beginning. And then several of you have been in and out and have popped in and into them. So as long as people want to gather, I'm here to provide a platform for folks in the ecosystem to connect. So it's not just about business owners, it's about the support agencies as well, and those that can offer us guidance and services. And it's really an opportunity for you to share who you are, what role you play in the sort of the ecosystem that I didn't even know existed until I started my own business, and promote your own businesses while you're here, or your organizations. Before we jump right into introductions, and I'll introduce our guest for today, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge that I'm joining you from the unceded territory of the Beothuk. Ask that you join me in acknowledging with respect the diverse cultures and traditions of all Indigenous people. In our province, we have 5 Indigenous populations. We have the Beothuk, as I mentioned, the Mi'kmaq, the Innu, the Inuit, and the Southern Labrador Inuit. And of course, we have a number of folks across the country in other First Nations as well. So perhaps let's start with that as far as a quick intro. Maybe if you could make your way to chat and just let me know what community you're joining from today. It's always one of my quirky things that I like to know how far we reach. So if you can use some of the tools across the top, that would be great. And I am going to run down and ask folks to do a quick intro for our guest, Alisha, just so she has a sense of who's on the call with us today. So Toby, I'm going to start with you, and then Terry Lynn, and then Calvin. So if you could just let us know who you are, where you are, and who you're with.
Good morning, I'm Toby Biggin. I'm the Executive Director with CBDC Humber in Corner Brook. We provide lending opportunities as well as some support programs for small to medium-sized businesses.
Excellent. Thank you. Welcome. Terry Lynn.
Good morning, everybody. I first of all apologize, my camera isn't working. As Carol said, my name is Terry Lynn Robbins, and I am the co-owner of Robbins Family Farm in Deer Lake. And we are a multi-commodity agritourism operation. And this time of year, we are busy doing lots of evergreen projects. So we have balsam fir wreaths and evergreen gnomes and planters and all sorts of things. And I'm sure Carol is shocked I'm actually not making a wreath while we're chatting, which is usual for this time of year. And as Carol said, I have probably I've maybe missed a handful of Carol's entrepreneurial coffee breaks, and I am a self-proclaimed Carol junkie.
Yes, we are mutual clients. She's been a client of mine, and I've been a client of hers, and we're dear friends. So we've spent a lot of time together. Welcome, Kelly. We're just running through introductions. Calvin, and then Stella.
Yes, Calvin Efford from Port Blandford. I'm with a volunteer with Applefest Port Blandford. We just completed our 7th Fall Applefest in last weekend of September. We brought roughly 5,000 people to our community for that weekend. Basically what we do is a concert, a outdoor market, and a car show And as I said, draws lots of people to our town for that weekend.
Wow, that's fantastic. I didn't realize it was that big, Calvin. That's awesome. Stella, and thank you and welcome. Stella and then Miranda.
Good morning. I'm Stella Regular, owner operator of Star Creations in Old Hurlingham. I apologize. I'm keeping my camera turned off this morning. As I told Carol, nobody would want to see what I look like or what my workspace looks like. We are a promotional products customer or custom clothing company. So as you can imagine, this is Santa's workshop at this time of year. And we're just a little bit crazy busy at the moment. But I'm glad I could make time to join even if I can't officially take a break.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Stella. Miranda and then Keith.
Hi, everyone. I'm Miranda Adams. I'm the sales director here at Deer Lake Horizon Hotel. It's formerly Holiday Inn Express here in Deer Lake. And we are in the middle of rebranding, switching over to Best Western. So as you could tell, it's been crazy busy here as well. So we're in the middle of trying to start renovations, and we officially go live on the 19th of November. So some exciting things to come for us.
Wow, just in time for holiday season. That is an
Yes.
exciting time. Excellent. Thank you. Keith and then Kelly.
Good day, everybody. Keith Golding. I'm the Director of College Development with College of the North Atlantic. I am also the immediate past president of the Greater Corner Brook Board of Trade and currently in the role of treasurer. And I am a small business owner as well. I have a company called Eastern Door Logistics, so we're a transportation and shipping company. So I'm interested in learning everything I can from all hats are on today.
Excellent. Yeah, I didn't know that about you, Keith, that when I saw your registration, I'm like, oh, I'll have to find out more about that.
Yeah.
I knew the other hats. And Kelly, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Carol, always for hosting this. And my name is Kelly Fay. I'm the manager for the Navigate Incubator. And I'm at CNA today, so I'm a little out of sorts because usually I'm down at the Center for Research and Innovation, and we are at an event, or at least some of us are at an event anyways, I'm very thankful to be here and looking forward to the session.
Excellent. Thank you. And then our guest today is Alisha Morrissey. Alisha's with Rogue Penguin. And so just kind of where this one came about. Stella, it's a shout out to you because at our last session, we were talking about AI. And Stella, as she mentioned, does custom clothing and brought up the point. I think the AI conversation it's evolving so quickly. We're all jumping on board, myself included. But I think there's also, we need to do some critical thinking and we need to kind of apply some lens into, are we all going off the cliff at the same time, or are we sort of thinking about this? So Stella kind of brought up the point of in the custom clothing and branding and promotional items, people are getting logos that aren't to her quality that she needs to be able to replicate them onto branding materials. And there haven't really gone through, I guess, a robust process. Just hey, AI, whomever, what Norman, Claude, Chat, GPT, whatever you want to use, create me a logo. And I remember thinking about when I went through rebranding, and Miranda, you talked about you're doing rebranding, and I worked with Alisha to do my rebranding, and it was quite a process. It wasn't just hey, make it purple, because of course everybody knows purple's my color, but there was more to it. We had conversations and there was iterations and there was, this evolution. It wasn't just a click a couple buttons and stick a swirl in it or stick a car in it or whatever you want, and away it goes. So I reached out to Alisha, and at first she's like, I don't know, AI is not something I really want to talk about too much, but I thought that's exactly what we need. Someone to kind of give us a bit of guidance on how do we think critically about using this as a marketing tool. So Alisha came up with a description that you saw in the registration. It is a tool. So Alisha, with that, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you want to tell folks a little bit about yourself and then whatever you want to share.
Sure.
So my name is Alisha Morrissey. I am the copy director and account manager at Rogue Penguin Creative. We're a marketing agency based in St. John's. We are a remote agency and we work with companies across Canada. Our favorite thing to do is branding and rebranding of companies, because we really get to know who our clients are and what they want and who their customers are, which is super fascinating to us. I will just say I started my career in journalism. I've worked in public policy, I've worked in communications, and I've made my way to marketing. I've been working in this industry for about 15 years. So if I don't know what I'm doing by now, I should probably get out of it. As for AI, as Carol said off the top, I am not an AI expert. AI has infiltrated our field quite heavily, which is great in some ways and absolutely horrific in others. It does need some sober second thought when you're using AI tools, and I think that's something that I can help you navigate. Yesterday we had a team meeting that was supposed to be an hour long. We were on for an hour and a half. It went off the rails as we discussed the pros and cons of AI the entire time. So I do have lots of knowledge in the area, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. What I am an expert in is branding, your brand voice and how to tell your story. So I'm open to questions at any point. I do not have a proper presentation. I did want to start this conversation off with the definition of artificial intelligence, though. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie Ex Machina. It's an Alex Garland movie. It's absolutely exceptional. Stars Oscar Isaac. It's really good. And it's about developing an AI robot. It is so much better than the Spielberg's AI and all of that. It makes you ask a lot of questions that makes you think afterwards. So movie recommendation for maybe your Friday night viewing would be Ex Machina by Alex Garland. The definition of AI, if you Google it, which I did this morning, is hilariously provided to us by an AI summary. And that definition is the capability of a machine to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. The real definition of AI is technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. What we are using today when we use ChatGPT and other tools like it, it's not artificial intelligence. It is a large language model. When we are using image generation, that is generative AI. There's no intelligence behind it. I want everybody on this call to know that if you are using a Google product, whether that's Google Docs, Gmail, etc., and now in the past month, if you are using Microsoft Word, if you are using any Apple products, every single thing that you write or do is educating AI. There is no more, we thought there was no more privacy with social media and them collecting your data, and with Googling and them collecting what you're interested in. There is really no privacy now because these things are learning from what you do. The other unfortunate note off the top is that AI is now learning from AI. So it's become a bit of an incestuous problem in that when you're looking for a solution, AI is actually looking to other AI searches and other AI tools to provide you with said solution. That's It's created a number of problems when you are asking for AI to create an image for you, for example. And Stella, this is what you've experienced. You don't get the file types that you need. The file types that you do get are not high quality. We've all seen the photos with the people of 5 fingers, so 5 or 6 fingers on each hand, and arms and limbs that don't do what they're supposed to do. We've all seen the memes of, hey, AI, is this berry poisonous? And it says 100% no. You can eat that. It's good for you. It's got antioxidants. And then you eat it and it's very, very poisonous. And AI will actually correct itself and say, yeah, no, that berry is very, very poisonous and you should seek medical attention. AI, however, does have some pros, and it can provide you with a significant number of efficiencies when running a small business. The big trick for everybody in any industry who is using this tool in any capacity is to check your work. If AI gives you a story that you can put on your about page of your website, you really do have to deep dive and monitor what AI is written for you. I'm not saying that it can't be accurate. It has been accurate in the past, and it does work really well if your prompts are on point. But in terms of branding your business, and this is where I get into what we do for a living. And we don't just do branding, we do a significant number of other things. We write search engine optimized website content. We design websites. We do billboards. We write radio ads that convert, that, make people interested and curious. We do big campaigns that go across the whole spectrum, from a brochure to a banner bug to a, full website or a landing page that can collect information, all of those things. What AI can't do is show the humanity in your brand. And humanity is what's going to be selling you from today forward. So when we develop a logo, as Carol said, we sit down and we ask you some really ridiculous questions. My favorite question to ask is, tell me about who your brand is. What kind of shoes do they wear? What kind of car do they drive? Your brand, not you as an individual. Tell me that if your brand is, I'm going to say, Star Creations, what does Star Creations like to have for dinner? And then I ask the same question about your customers. And these things give us so much insight into the personality and the humanity of who your brand is and who your customer is. And in order to reach those customers and find the right customers for you, you have to be able to tell that story in a very personalized human way. I talk often about the example of Starbucks. We all know the green Starbucks mermaid logo, but what we don't realize is the scent of Starbucks when you walk in is part of their brand. That coffee smell in the air, the uniforms, the recent mandate that came down that you have to write on every cup. So I've received cups that have just said yum or happy birthday, because of course they collect information about you, but it's that personal human touch. And a lot of companies that are using AI are doing so in such a way that they want to reach their customers quickly and efficiently, and it doesn't really matter to them, especially on social media, that the content is not really human. And I'll tell you, there are lots of things about AI that I find to be very interesting. in terms of like, oh, it's got an M dash, that's AI, or it's got semicolons, or it's using the rule of three. Well, the reason that AI uses those tools, M dashes and semicolons and the rule of three, is because the best writers do. So it's all been taken from their work to give you the most professional looking experience, which is great if your brand is highly professional. So I want you guys to start thinking about your brands in terms of them being a person. So the Apple Festival is not a festival. It's not a thing. It's not a nebulous event. The Apple Festival is a person who likely wears flannel, loves fall, loves being outside, loves, probably drives a really outdoorsy kind of car, maybe a Subaru. Do you know what I mean? These people are wearing Blundstones and they are eating granola when they're on the trail, but they're probably having like a rich big dinner. You know what I mean? I'm thinking like meat and potatoes plus, like there's lots of veggies and everything smothered in butter because they need the fat, you know, because they're out hiking all the time. That sounds so silly because obviously the Apple Festival is not a human being. But if you start to think of the Apple Festival as a human being, then you automatically start infusing that personality into what you're creating when you do create a banner bug. So that's kind of my spiel about what your brand is and its value. I do have a couple of blog posts I'm going to put links to in the chat for y'all to get an idea of what your brand is, what your brand voice is, how we get to that. But I guess in the context of AI, I am happy to take questions about ethics and uses and tools even that we use, because we do use it. I'm opening up the floor.
Excellent. Thank you, Alicia. I want to meet Calvin's Apple Festival person. The way you described that so effortlessly, you just came up with this whole vision has just come alive in my head just in that. So I think that's really cool. A couple things that I'll touch on and then I'll turn to the floor. I think you're right in that there are efficiencies we can use with AI. I think this whole conversation around creativity is sort of that stumbling block for me. I use it to summarize large things of data. If I'm collecting a bunch of information, doing public engagement or consultation, and then I say, okay, here's all the comments, theme it for me. It's great because, it can go through a lot of data quickly. I've used it to write workshop descriptions, but you're absolutely correct around checking it because I look at it and I'd never say it like that. There's no way that makes sense to me because that doesn't look like me. Right. So I think that's, certainly a caveat that we're I think all learning very quickly that we have to check what comes back. The other piece that I just want to touch on, and I know Kelly's been doing a lot of workshops with Navigate and what I've learned from a couple that I've attended, you're absolutely correct on the effectiveness of the prompt because the prompt really takes you to where you want to go. And the prompt can be as long, it could be paragraphs long to create what it is you're actually going to. And I've actually seen in one of the workshops that we did with Navigate where you asked AI to write the prompt for AI. So it's like it is this whole to me getting my head around that whole concept of using itself and that is just kind of takes it to another level. But so that's just sort of my perspective on a couple of the things you said. I think learning how to write the prompts is really important. I know my prompts have gone from write me an outline to giving the prompt a persona. This is the role you are playing. I need you to think like this. Now write this. And the prompt becomes that long. And then I get back something it's usually much more palatable and something that I don't need to tweak as much. So that's just kind of my perspective on a few things. So I'm going to open to the floor. Any questions? You can use the raise hand, open up your mic, shout out, type in chat, whichever is easiest for you. And we'll just open it up, whoever wants to jump in. Keith.
All right. Yeah, I'm been relatively new in this role. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. I've been here long enough that I'm no longer considered new. But the role was created in 2022 at College of North Atlantic. That's the hat I'm wearing right now. So in that sense, I was given a job description and a machete, and I had to cut my own trail. So I've been finding, and I don't have a staff. I'm a staff of one, and so I'm an office of college development. So the acronym is OCD needs to change because I'm definitely not that, or I'm too disorganized for that. But I've used and I've found great resource in AI in terms of, and I'm using the Perplexity and I'm using some of the other ones. They've been doing a great job of helping me synthesize, like you said, a great amount of information. As I've written pre-budget submissions to the government, and then I've been able to take my pre-budget submission that we have submitted on behalf of the college and look at the budget document, several hundred pages long, and then put the two of them together and say where were our objectives met and where weren't they met. And then it's able to grab that information, and then I'm able to look at marketing initiatives like conferences, military conferences that I want to go up and talk about opportunities for students to work in the defense sector and all this expanding and movement in defense space, and in my own business as a trucking company as well. As we move things for the military. So in both of those worlds, I'm able to sit down and use this to develop not a strategic plan. I think that's important, and you need a human element. But in terms of a strategy for that objective, for that deliverable on that event, what do I need to do? What are the steps I need to take? Who should I be reaching out to? Who should I be talking to? And then it can grab all the list of delegates, all the list of exhibitionists that are going to be at that exhibition, and tell me who the ones that are aligned with what I'm needing, or who the ones that have major contracts in the defense space and I should be targeting. And it's able to pull that information together quite quickly for me. So I do like that. But I saw somebody here submitted a proposal, and it was heavily laced with AI. It was heavily influenced and heavily using AI to write it
And you
with
can
them
tell.
for time. And in that, they use a terminology that was somewhat taboo in terms of government. And the point they were trying to make was that we're no longer doing that. But the way AI read the information and interpret, when I did a scan and did a kind of a find, I found a document referenced a point 27 times. This word that they didn't want, they want to say we weren't doing this, but it was in there 27 times. So when the funding agency looked at it, all they read was this word that they didn't want to see in a proposal, and we had it written there 27 times because AI wrote it there, and I don't think anybody properly read it, thoroughly reviewed it, thoroughly made the language their own. So I had to go back and do my soft shoe. That's what I get paid the big bucks for. I shaking hands and kissing babies. I get massaging relationships, right? So that was the nature of what I had to do, and it was a good object lesson. And you're right, the prompt engineering thing I've been finding to be invaluable, absolutely, because the better definition you can give the AI systems, the better output. I guess it goes back to Babbage's statement: garbage in, garbage out. Right? It's the same concept in computers, and it still is.
Yeah.
It is a computer system. It is artificial. So you don't give it proper information, it's going to give you. And the other thing that I found in using AI, which really shocked me, because I'm taking more of a moral or ethical lens, is the ghost. Is this, if they can't find the answer, just invents it. My daughters had a friend in high school like that. If he didn't know the answer, he just made it up. And apparently that friend now runs the language model for Chat GPT, because if it does not know the answer, just invents one. Hey,
Yes.
like some president I heard of himself. But yeah, that's my few observations in using AI. I'm a fan of it, but it is a tool, and you've got to be careful about what you're putting in there, and you got to carefully review it. Then you got to make the language your own.
Yeah.
You can't ignore a piece of technology like this. You kind of have to accept that it's part of part of the society that we're in, and it feels very much like Ray Bradbury's 451. When
From
when books became banned, it wasn't because books were necessarily bad. I mean, it was. If you read the book, you realize that how media was changed was everything should be shorter, everything should be clear. Instead of reading a book, you read a summary of the book and the themes, and that's what AI is doing to us now. Obviously, people are still reading lots of books, but the simplicity of things. And I do, as an advocate of simplistic writing, Keith and Carol have talked about collating large amounts of data, which is exceptional. But the fact is, academia, for example, has to get their proverbial shit together, excuse my language, and stop writing papers the way that they write them because they're not digestible. So
No.
people need an AI tool. And I mean, there is a rabbit hole that you can go down about stupid people can't fight back, so let's destroy the education system. Let's let people use AI. Like, there's a whole ethical situation that we could go down. But I mean, day to day, you can't ignore the impact that ChatGPT and Perplexity and other tools have had on our day-to-day life.
we're seeing it here in terms of our advancing our teaching and learning objectives here. And we're grappling with that because we have students that are passing in assignments that they're running through filters to see if it's AI, and they could say, well, 80% of it was created by AI. So it's like, is that cheating? Well, I mean, and now it's getting to the point where we're starting to recognize that maybe we have to alter our perception on how we evaluate and how we question. So it's our prompt engineering to the human, to the student. So instead of saying write me an essay on why the sky is blue, you're going to, now the assignment is going to be use Notebook LM to create a podcast which highlights the pros and cons of
Yep.
of the theory that the sky is, why the sky is blue because of dust particles, and so you throw in a bunch. Now they're doing a little bit of research. Now they're throwing those prompts into Notebook LM, and Notebook LM creates an AI podcast, fictitious podcast, which is two people talking, and you can't tell that it's not two humans. It's incredible. And it does a 15-minute podcast on that topic. So now now you're not focusing on their ability to type and use proper grammar, which, to our chagrin, that's just the way things are nowadays. But you're evaluating their ability to interpret data and to pull out what's relevant, what's important, to demonstrate that they understand the concepts that they're being evaluated on. So it's how do you use
really
AI?
what we have to be teaching our younger generations, I think. I mean, a good use case, and this is an example of something that we use regularly, is we'll use generative AI to create photography, or we have a significant number of small business clients who cannot afford to hire a photographer to come in once a quarter to take real life photos. But as marketers, we also know that when it comes to social media or any image, having a person in the photo will help that ad perform better. So sometimes we will use photos that clients have sent us. I did this 2 days ago myself. I had a photo of a woman and it was cut off like this, like it was her head and just the top of her shoulders, and the outside edges of her shoulders didn't exist in the photo. So I used a generative AI to create the round of her shoulders and remove the background from behind her. Immediately, that photo was usable for marketing purposes. There are tools that are incredibly valuable, but it's the second half of the definition, right, around artificial intelligence, to simulate human comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. And I mean, really, that's going up Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think the question, as Keith brought up, is, and you've alluded to, it's there. We can't ignore it. It's, I think, questioning the application of it. So it's kind of like social media. Like we talk about the doom scrolling, but I mean we're there. We're all there. We just it's the thing you do. You have to check and see what's going on because you've got to be in the new no. And you know, as I mentioned earlier, I find this world is heavy these days, and sometimes it's because I'm doom scrolling. It's like, you know what, I need to put that aside, or I need to really check my feed or whatever, because that's just contributing to, you know, the negativity and getting caught up in things. And I just don't want to put my energy there. So I don't, you know, the tool's there and I'll use it for my purposes, but maybe I need to be critical on how I approach it and use it. And it's interesting, Keith, you talk about a word. There's a particular word that I don't use, which is a very common word. And every time I put something in AI to say generate a description of such and such, it always uses this word. So now I'm starting to teach it, say, no, don't use that word. That word cannot be used. Come up with something different. You know, and but it's about having that critical thinking. To me, is where we have to make sure that we look at what's being produced and analyze it before we trust it, I guess is kind of my takeaway. Any other comments or questions for Alicia, or stories that you want to share? Kelly, can I pick on you? Because I know you folks have been doing a lot of emphasis on this. Is there anything here that's kind of jumping at you, or that you've heard in some of the workshops that you've been offering as well?
Well, actually, I had questions. Can I jump
Okay,
in
yeah,
with
yeah, go
questions
ahead.
first?
Yeah.
Because Alicia, so again, thank you, Carol, for hosting this, and thank you, Alicia, for presenting. And what I am curious about, you mentioned about the ethics and tools and usage, and I particularly why I wanted to join in today is because I am curious for small business owners and entrepreneurs, how they can use AI, because especially if you're a solopreneur, you don't have all the money, as you were saying, to do all your social media and all the things. And so, okay, so not that, and I'm always very protective of marketers at this point in time, particularly because, I mean, this is going to wipe out, and I hate to even say this, but it's going to wipe out jobs and I think agencies in some way, right? So, so, and I almost feel actually horrible to be even asking you this because this is your livelihood, and I'm saying, oh, by the way, could you tell us how you use AI in marketing and branding?
Yep.
It's horrible. So, but this is my intention is for entrepreneurs who just can't afford it. And so, and I think that, I mean, from the informal learning that I've been engaged with in branding, in particular in marketing over the years, is that if people don't know who you are, you can have the best product, and that's myself included as an artist. If people don't know who I am, then they're not. It's not going anywhere. So, so this is the place that I come from on behalf of solopreneurs in particular, I'd say, and small business owners that can't afford marketing.
Solopreneurs struggle so hard. For a lot of years when we started this business, it was just myself and my business partner. I wrote the copy for everything, and he did the graphic design for everything. And he handled the bookkeeping, and I handled human resources and other things. I handled dealing with, the lawyers and stuff. One thing I would say about solopreneurs and very small business owners is, first of all, they should be given a medal. And second of all, can't afford it. I'm going to have some privilege here, is a bit of a mentality.
Okay.
Because I can't afford an accountant because I'm too small. But think about how much time you'd get back if you didn't have to do your own bookkeeping. What is the priority? Do you want to be a bookkeeper? No, you started your business to work on the thing. If you do have a legal issue, you do hire a lawyer. You find the money for that. You find the money for marketing. And Kelly, it's so funny that you should say that our jobs are going to be extinct. They're not. And the reason they're not is because the reason we're not is because AI, as fast as it's not going in the right direction to actually replace us. It's going backwards in that it's cannibalizing itself. It's a snake eating its tail now. ChatGPT is providing you prompts that ChatGPT created. You know what I mean? Like there is no humanity in it. And the most successful businesses will be the ones that lean into people going forward. I truly believe that. And the reason is humans. I'm getting a tea delivery. Um, I truly believe that human connection is absolutely essential to society continuing. So when marketers are extinct, society is coming to an end. It's so that I've done so many deep dives into this AI stuff to the point where a couple of weeks ago I was like, no more bringing up AI in our group meetings. We have to get through our list of clients and our work. Like, don't bring it up. And then I'll let that down again and we'll talk about it again. It changes on a daily basis, but so does social media. I'm still trying to explain to clients today that you can't put a link in an Instagram caption. And that's like a teeny tiny example, let alone, on the big one. As for how small businesses can use AI, and probably should be, is very much what Carol and Keith were talking about. If you get a massive RFP that's 20 pages, but this RFP, if you get that job, that's another employee. That's an investment into your own learning and your own growth. But you need somebody to help you get through the minutia. That's what AI is for. You need photos for your social media. Yeah, that's what AI is for. As an artist, I hate that. I'm also an artist, as you can tell. But it's a reality that we're all going to have to adjust to. Thank you so much.
See, AI couldn't have brought that to you.
No, AI. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Sitting down with another solopreneur. I'm a solopreneur. I'm sitting down and having a cup of coffee with a solopreneur. I'm going to get so much from that coffee date because that person's telling me their experiences and I can apply them to what I do. Having these coffee chats, sure, we're on a screen, but these things are where you really learn how to run your business. Nobody goes into being a solopreneur with all the information that you need. I don't know if I've answered your question properly. I tend to think very it's a web, not a box.
It is for sure. Maybe I didn't articulate that very well. I don't think marketers will be extinct. I don't think and I don't think artists will be, but it's more of how can we support, and I say we as in navigate, support entrepreneurs with AI and with social media in particular. So that's kind of where I'm
really particular about that. So currently the Mount Pearl Paradise Chamber of Commerce is offering an AI expert course. You can learn how to use AI tools through Skillshare, for example. It's really good deep dive. I think it's Kean College who is currently doing a 6-week 3 hours a week something course specifically about AI and how to use them. There are tons of available resources out there, and those individuals are really diving into those, not individuals, sorry, business groups and organizations are really diving into how to do AI. As a solopreneur, it's hard to take in a course. I know Denise Goodyear over at Intuitive Media is doing the AI course through LinkedIn, and it's kicking her butt because she's working a full day and then it's 2 hours at night, twice a week for 6 weeks. It's a lot of work. You have to be committed to it. And that comes back to, the can't afford it mentality. It's like, do you learn or do you not? Like, it's up to you. If it means that you have to pass on this small project to learn, then you have to do that. Business owners are constantly reprioritizing. So there are tons of tools out there, and these organizations are kind of cross-posting and promoting each other's AI learning tools. I will say all of these AI courses are being taught by human beings. And all of these solopreneurs and small businesses need, well, they need to learn how to use these tools, or maybe not need, they can learn these tools. That it has to be a priority to them. So they need to invest that time and money. I had another thought, but it's completely gone. Sorry, Kelly.
I just signed up for the micro credentials with partnership with CBDC and Kean College, and I've passed on 2 cohorts to sign up because of my work schedule.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, and there's obviously a paid gig is important when when you're a solopreneur and that's your source of income. But I looked at it and I reached out to them and I said, look, if you've got people on a wait list that can't get in, I cannot commit to twice a week for 6 weeks. I will pick the least impacted cohort and hope for the best. And they came back and they said, no, that's fine. We understand that as business owners, and the fact that the sessions are recorded, you can pick up what you missed. I said, okay, excellent. So I'm starting next week. I'm going to, I thought I was going to miss the first 2, but I'm not. I'm going to be able to take in the first 2, but I'm going to miss the next 2. And then hopefully I'll be able to handle the rest. But I think it's to what you're saying, Alicia, it's about, you have to decide at what point are you putting that commitment in. The other, thank you, Terry Lynn. So, and I've heard really good things about it. So that's why I thought I would make the time to try and do it. I look at it too, Kelly, is not only just the affordability to hire a bookkeeper or to hire somebody to do your social media, it's sometimes using the tools. So, I mean, I used the free Canva for a long time. I used the free MailChimp for a long time. And I got to the point of, you know what, I need the efficiency that some of the paid things can do. So can I pay the $20 a month? Because let's face it, $20 a month, $30 a month, $20 a month, $30 a month, and all of a sudden you get 5 tools. Now you're looking at $150 you're putting out each month. That's significant money. But I kind of did what Alicia said, was at what point am I gaining out of that more than what I'm kind of putting in? Now, I'm fortunate I was raised by an accountant and banker, so I do all my own bookkeeping because she taught me well. But, I know of small business owners that that's just not their thing.
Yeah.
They would get way overwhelmed trying to track receipts. So you know what? They're better off to pay somebody to process that. But it's hard when I think I have 4 software technology bills that come in every month. And every time they come in, it's like, should I really be paying for that? Yeah, I think I should.
Well, and business owners waste a lot of time looking for the right tool for them too. So you talked about MailChimp. There are 20 different kinds of newsletter list building tools out there, right? Which one's the right one for you? You have to go and do all that research. Whereas you could speak to, and again, I'm plugging my own industry here, you could speak to a marketing agency who could ask you 4 or 5 questions and go, this is the right one for you. And it's it's not always a huge investment. I mean, don't get me wrong, to rebrand your business. I mean, especially turning from, you know, a private hotel into a Best Western, my God, the money they'll spend on that. But for a small business, a solopreneur, if you're looking even at a few $1,000s, it's like, do you invest that or not? Even though that investment is going to make a huge difference to the future of your company. And I do want to ask Terry Lynn, you completed the micro credential program, and I know that Denise is going through it now. She's telling me all about it. I'm wondering how much Denise has said that it's very rah AI. And here's a million billion ways that you can use it. I don't
Yes.
feel like it comes with a healthy dose of caution. Does it?
Well, I think everybody, you know, I'm more of a skeptical kind of person, and so, you know, I looked at it. It does come with a very strong dose of, you know, pro AI for sure. The instructor is wonderful. He definitely knows his stuff. He's great. But he is definitely pro AI. There's not a lot of discussion about, you know, some of the downfalls or the negatives with AI, but he does touch on, you know, some of the things to be aware of and be cautious of, and you know, that sort of thing.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. It was, you know, it was definitely in depth. The idea behind it, I don't think it's meant to make anybody an AI expert. I
Right.
think it's definitely, it's meant to just give everybody the opportunity to learn what all of the different tools are all about. And you can then pick and choose which tools really work best for you and why you're looking to, you know, use it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I would like to do it as well. Oh, Keith, did you have any other questions before you go?
No, I'm getting a lot out of this. I'm sorry I had to go, but I didn't realize I have, we've got a couple of federal MPs here on campus, and I wasn't aware that they were coming to visit. So it's part of my job is to do that kind of stuff. So I've got to go meet them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Namalta's
All right.
key.
Take
If
care.
you ever want to chat further about AI or marketing, feel free to reach out to me. Our contact
Yeah,
information
no,
is on our website.
I definitely will. They, like I said, with CNA, we have our own in-house marketing people,
You
but
do?
in terms of my side hustle, it's getting active, so I might need some support there for sure.
Good for
Excellent.
you.
Thank you.
That's
All
awesome.
right, take care.
Kelly, back to your question. I'll speak from a business owner's perspective around what can you do to help us as business owners. I think obviously the providing you know, opportunities to learn and to meet people is important, but I also see, Kelly, your role and others in your organization as maybe those accountability partners. Have you checked this? Have you done a risk analysis? Have you thought about, you know, and just kind of putting that as you would for anything that you're doing. You know, if we're writing a business plan, someone is giving you, well, here's the potential pitfalls, or here, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? So I think it's in this world, it's just, yeah, it's great. There's tools out there, which is the right one for you, and have you kind of made that assessment? I think it's nice to have someone kind of give you that gut check, I guess, when it comes to it. And it's interesting too, Alicia, when you talked earlier, and we've kind of taken away from the marketing side of it, but I'll just go back to what you said earlier about um, you know, telling the story. I know when I started my business, I thought, well, my Facebook business page has to be business only.
Yep.
You know, the cats go on my personal page, but you know, you can't put anything personal on the business page. Well, I quickly learned that telling that story of who I am is telling my brand.
Yep.
You know, it's not always putting the cats, but you know, when they're there sitting on my lesson plan or they're there attacking my printer, you know, that's kind of a cute little thing to show that this is a human business and a human's behind the business. And so I think, you know, that balance of professionalism, but also the fact there is a human aspect to it. You know, Terry Lynn posted yesterday, I think it was, isn't this a great day at work when you get to hug goats? You know, she runs a farm and that's her business. And, you know, everybody's smiling because we're all envisioning, you know, snuggling goats. But it doesn't mean that it's not a professional business page because she told a story of her and the goats, you know, like but it's a balance, right?
I don't think it's a balance, Carol. I think it's more about who your brand is. So you, as a solopreneur and a facilitator in particular, your job is to connect people. In
Mhm.
order to do that, you have to show that you are willing to connect with people. And
Yeah.
part of you connecting with people is the cats in the office, you know. This is what our work life looks like. It's all about
Mhm.
culture, and that really does come from the top. And Terry Lynn, I need to cuddle those goats. So I'm on the West Coast for a bit. So the minute that I am out there again, I will be at the farm.
Well, I mean, they're not just goats, they're actually brand new baby goats. So I would recommend to anybody that snuggling baby goats is always a good idea.
I would think that's a great stress reliever.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you were in a more like corporate business, let's say a Grant Thornton or even CNA, you can add humanity by highlighting the people that you serve. You can add humanity by highlighting your team. Grant Thornton's not going to share a photo of a cat sitting on a printer, but they are going to share the story of the person that they helped get out of bankruptcy. You know, those kinds of it's about adding those touches of humanity that work for your business.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Lori, you snuck in a little bit later. I just want to know if you want to give a chance to shout out to folks, let know folks who you are and where you are.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Sorry. For some reason, I was thinking that you guys were 15 minutes ahead of me. I'm in Nova Scotia. So, um, yeah, Lori Prentice Van Leuven, East Coast Sirens. So I'm an artisan, and for the past 3 years, I've been doing, the odd trade show and that kind of thing. And I had a little retail store, gift shop, seasonal out of one of our lighthouses here in Digby on Nova Scotia, which was fabulous. However, it just got to be a lot. So I've given that up. And now I'm really focusing on trying to get online and get my online presence well known so that I can pretty much just do my thing and sell from home. Excuse me. So I do use some AI. I've used, one of them is called Word Hero, and I'm not sure if you've heard of Word Hero. I find it's really great for coming up with creative names for my products. Because after a while, a bowl is a bowl is a bowl. So, Word Hero, I find, does very well with that type of thing. It's got so many more opportunities, but the two that I use the most are the descriptions and the product names. But I'm also trying to get a little bit better at doing AI for creating backgrounds for my product images, that kind of thing. I've done Night Cafe, I believe, is one. And then Artistly is another. And then I've been a long time subscriber to Cyberlink and their photo director. They now have a lot of AI capabilities as well. So all of that is fine, fantastic. But I did come across, just one second here, in my email, and it is called, oh God, now I can't find the silly thing. Maybe it was in the other email. Yeah, no, now I can't find it, of course. But, and now I can't find you. Oh, for heaven's sakes. There we go. Yay, here you are. Anyway, it was all about having a bot that you create yourself. What is the purpose of that? Is it something that can, that you can say, here, I need you to find buyers or people that are interested in buying XYZ? Is that what they're for, or what?
So there are different kinds of bots out there. One of them would be the type when you go to a big corporate website and a chat box comes up in the corner. And
Right.
it's like, what can I help you with today?
Yes,
And
those are
it's
very annoying.
I hate them too. And do you know why? Because it's not human. Oh
Well,
my
and it
gosh,
only
I'm so
gives you
sorry.
specific,
Terry Lynn.
it's so specific criteria that you have to answer. And if you don't fall
Yep.
within that parameter, you're out of luck.
Yeah, so the whole purpose of that from a business owner perspective is it saves you time. So you don't have to reply to every email. You don't
Right.
have to reply to every comment. Maybe the person can figure it out themselves. To be honest, nobody likes them. Nobody wants to use them. I wish they were abolished. As a marketer, I think throw that baby out with the bathwater. But there are a lot of tools. There are other kinds of bots. There are bots like social media bots that can go out and look for people. There are ways to like buy followers, and oh my gosh, it's out
Yeah,
of
I don't want to
this
get
world.
into buying followers. I think that's very false representation, but maybe I'm
You'll
totally
also
wrong on
get
that too.
you'll also get docked for it. So if you're out there, using bots and things like that, the platforms are going to ding you. They're going to hurt your
Okay.
website ranking. They're going to hurt your granted, if you're using in-app tools, this is one of my favorite. It's very social media is so toxic. So when it started, it was about connecting with your aunt in Colorado and being able to share photos back and forth. Now it's all about the money. It's all about the money. So if you're using in-app tools like Facebook has an autoresponder. So
Yes,
if somebody sends you a message on
I
Facebook
do
or on
utilize that.
Instagram,
Yeah.
exactly, they're not going to punish you. But if you use outside tools, they are going to punish you. So if you're doing a regular advertisement every month, they're not going to punish you because you're spending $25 with them.
Right.
And every $25 is $25.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, bots.
So I guess, yeah. And so I guess the next question to follow that would be, you talk about AI and how it can help you do things. What kind of things can it do to make my life
Sure.
simpler and easier on a day-to-day? So, and do you need special chat, is chat GPT going to do the job, or do you need to invest in bigger and more powerful AI, which costs a fortune?
Nope. It's not going to do your job. And like the title of this talk, it is not your business partner. ChatGPT is not going to do your job for you.
Right.
You're going to have to invest. And we just talked about this a little bit before, I think, before you came in.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's totally cool because I think it's worth repeating. ChatGPT and other AI tools like the notebook that Keith had been talking about before, it can go through information for you and provide you with high points. It can help you improve your photos that you're putting online, which you're already using. It can write content for you for your website, for your social media, etc. Unfortunately, it is not the be all and end all. You have to check all that work.
100%, yes.
So what winds up happening is it sounds like another productivity tool, but in reality, it's more rigmarole.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
would agree with that, Alicia. I think
it's a lot of money. It's a
It
lot
Yeah.
of
is. It
money.
can be, yes. Yeah.
and I think it's about finding the right tools for the right task.
Yes.
that you're looking for. So when Keith was talking about looking at, you know, the RFP and stuff, I do that now where I take a request for proposal and I draft my response, I draft my submission, and then I ask AI to look at them and say, have I met it? Is my proposal answering the call that they're looking for? And it'll tell me you're strong here, here, and here, you missed this piece, or you
Right.
should add to this piece.
Right.
So, you know, but the chat, the prompt is really important. So I'll be,
I know.
you know, you are working with Navigate Small Business, which is an organization that supports entrepreneurs in the western region of Newfoundland and Labrador. You have issued a request for proposal for a consultant to do da 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 da. You are evaluating this proposal submitted by Spicer Facilitation, and how would you evaluate it? Would you consider offering the blah blah? Like, I mean, the chat is this long, the prompt is
Right.
this long, because I've said essentially you're Kelly and you're evaluating it. And then it will come back and say, Spicer Facilitation has done a great submission on this, this, and this piece wasn't answered. Okay. So it kind of gives me that simulation of somebody evaluating what I'm submitting using the rubric that they've put in the RFP so they know what they're evaluating against and so on. Do I ask it to write my RFPs? No. Do I ask it to tighten up some of my language? Yes. You know, because there's ways to do that. And I've done it. I've tried it. I've said, okay, draft me a proposal in response to this. And I'm looking at it going, oh, that's not the process I would use. You know, like it's just not valid. So
Well, no, I mean, you have to make it sound like you as well, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what software would you utilize for that? To do that
I've
breakdown or close editing or whatever you want to call it.
right now I tend to fall to Copilot
Okay.
That's a good
just
one.
because it's I've done Mirror. I've done the exact same prompt in Chat GPT and in Copilot. For whatever reason, I like Copilot a little bit better.
Okay. Good to know.
So, and sometimes I'll,
Weirdly,
and
it might be the design.
exactly. And it might be picking up who I am a little bit better. Now they're both free. I'm not using paid versions. But also I've purposely done it in both sometimes because there'll be a piece in one that I'll like over the other. And you can also open up a brand new conversation and do the exact same thing and you get a different answer.
Right.
That's the other thing to be cautious on. Because
I
you're not
do
always
that
going to
quite
get
often.
you're not
Yeah,
always going to get 2 + 2 is 4 every single time you ask the question, what's 2 + 2?
that's
So,
right. Yeah.
you know, I think that's also, and you know, if you think of us as human beings, we don't always answer the same question the same way every day either. So, you know, but it's something that to what Alicia sort of said off the top, it's not perfect and it's not, there's no human behind it. It's taking language that's been taught and regurgitating the language in the form that it's been taught. So, you know,
There are some humans behind it. And this is where things get really like 1984. There are there are some new augmented reality programs, apparently. I have not investigated this myself, where you will put on glasses to like see your surroundings, but you can also interact with things online. And they've got a friggin' human being on the other end of your AI because AI is not advanced enough, telling you in your ear what you're interacting with. The fact is, I mean, even when they were doing stuff at Amazon, where it was like customer service AI, it's literally just a phone bank in India, except it's not a phone bank, it's people sitting there replying to comments. You can't fully automate anything when you're running a business. I know we want to, but you can't. You can't say MailChimp put out a newsletter every 2 weeks that covers these topics and it'll do it for you. It's not going to work.
no.
And people won't open it. That's the interesting part because it's not human.
Yeah. But I think it's like anything, and I think it goes back to Kelly, your question about supporting people. I think it's, you know, we have to, as business owners, decide what tools we're using that are right, what's
Yes.
our priority. And I think folks like yourself and Toby and all the other support agencies around us, especially for solopreneurs, there's times we get in our own head because we don't have a team to bounce ideas off of, right? So you're doing things and then you're second guessing yourself because you really don't have anyone to talk to about it. So I see sort of that system as come in and chat with us and we'll throw the questions at you. You don't have to have all the answers, but we'll get you to start thinking critically, or we'll get you to ask us the tough questions. I remember Billy when he was my mentor at first at Navigate, and he said to me, so many people go out wanting to sell this and clients are looking for this, but no, I'm selling this, but clients are looking for this. And he said, that's a hard conversation to tell somebody you can't sell this because they want this. But that's exactly what you need, because there's no skin in the game for you as far as, whether we succeed or fail, it doesn't hurt you individually, but helping us succeed, I'm sure is why you're in the role that you're in, is you want us to succeed. So sometimes we need those tough conversations when we don't have that team around us, that we have that team that you've got somebody who's saying, have you thought about maybe it's time to mechanize this piece? Or have you thought about maybe it's time to use this particular tool? Or if you're going to use this tool, have you thought about this ramification? Because I think it's interesting to have somebody who looks at it with those fresh eyes. I still have a former colleague that I worked with in the provincial government that I'll send him something once in a while and say, just read this. Does it make sense? And then he just sent me something recently and he's like, okay, pick it apart. And I'm like, okay, you ready? Because I get pretty particular. And he's like, yep, give me everything. And I did. We do that for each other because you don't have it when you're a solopreneur. You don't have a whole team. You don't have a whole marketing department. You don't have a whole, creative team with you. So it's not that you necessarily have all the answers for us, but I think if you can get us to ask the right questions, you know, get us thinking, getting us out of that. We're barreling down this path doing one thing. So I think that's an important piece.
I mean, as we have these conversations, and I do think that people like Kelly are what is going to equal your business success. Excuse me. People like me, in marketing, we're more than marketing. I should be clear on that. We sit down lots of times with clients to talk about things like the hours that they're open. And that's not technically marketing, but it sort of kind of is. Anyway, when it comes to your business succeeding, it's all about the human. It's about connecting with your business advisor or your chamber of commerce or etc. and having a network around you. Because ChatGPT can't fix everything. They can't tell you what people are really experiencing out there. I just shared, and this is like my final big point, I just shared an Instagram link to a meme that my company shared a couple of weeks ago. And it's so funny because all AI company logos do look like buttholes. They're all circles. But when you click that and you look at all of those logos in there, they were all created by human beings. They all have a similar look and feel for a reason. It's because the human beings that created those logos know what tech companies are supposed to look like to the average human being who's going to be using the tech logos. So it's about having somebody see one of those logos and go, yeah, that's an AI company. You can't get that from AI. Hilariously, and I also shared this link in the chat as well. OpenAI did release its first advertising campaign for ChatGPT. They hired a marketing agency. They hired models. They hired a film shooting agency. And they all work together. Probably 15 to 20 people work together on that ad. They spent several $1 million to both create the ad and advertise it to you and I. And it's art because people had to come together to work to solve a creative problem. Right. AI can't do that. AI is a tool. It's like a hammer. You can use it all you want, and it will help you put that nail into the wall. But unless you know where the stud is, what good is hanging that picture? It's going to fall off the wall.
Right. Stella, do you want to jump in? Stella, I noticed that you just opened your mic, so I don't know if you were looking to jump in.
No, sorry. I had someone trying to call me at the same time and someone texting me, and I pushed the wrong button.
No problem. So I know you're there listening, so that just if you want to jump in.
I am. There's a lot of interesting information being shared here, and a lot of different perspectives. And I can, as a solopreneur that's owner operator and doing a little bit of everything, I can see different perspectives that each one is presenting. So it's kind of unique to see it from different angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stella,
all right,
feel
so
for you with the texts and the phone calls. My phone has been nonstop since we've been on here.
Oh, it's crazy.
yeah, it's the world we live in as solopreneurs sometimes, where nothing shuts down.
No, and this time of year, like you're heading into Christmas, so everybody says, oh, it brings out the happy in people, but unfortunately, because of the business I'm in, it brings out the impatient in people. And I guess I'm one of the people, like, and when you go into a shop and you vent your frustrations on the sales clerk, well, that's kind of my role as well. So
the amount of empathy has just dropped right off, hey?
Oh, and the expectations are skyrocketed.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions or comments for Alisha before we start wrapping up?
Yeah, I have one quick question. So if you create videos with images that you've provided or whatever, and the video is created by AI, so therefore it's going to register that way. If you start posting those type of videos on social media like Instagram, Facebook, that kind of thing, do you get docked for that?
Yeah. And you will, you'll start to see it more and more over time. You'll get an AI generated sort of disclaimer on your video.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know, because I was curious about that, because even though you're participating in it, it's still at the end of the day an AI generated format.
Yeah. And it's funny because we use Adobe, and Adobe accidentally in their last couple of updates made it that anything you export out of Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, Adobe Rush, which is a video editing software, etc., all had AI tags in the metadata of what was being exported. Now I believe it's rolled back, but what it was doing was hurting everything that you put out because it thought that it was AI even though it wasn't.
Wow.
Do you see that changing? I mean, you keep it kind of hinting that it's going to get worse as far as docking and so on. Do you see down the road it flipping back where AI is the preferred way?
I don't. At least not for the next, I would say 3 years, 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
I know that your videos and photos perform better if you do them in Instagram. Lori, so if you're uploading a video, say you've edited a video in video software, and then you upload it to Instagram, you're not going to get as good a reach as if you use the Reels app to edit your video.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? Sort of self-serving on their part.
It's all about the money. Cui bono, who benefits? Ask yourself in every situation.
Yeah, you always follow the money.
Yep.
Interesting.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you, Lori.
Any other social media or marketing questions that are like, what about this? I read this online, or anything like that, like any quick
TikTok.
Yeah.
Now, is TikTok prevalent here in Canada? Yes. I tried to set up a TikTok shop, but it doesn't seem to allow me to do that in Canada.
A TikTok shop is, you have to have X number of followers before you can set up a shop.
Oh, well, that would be the reason then. Okay.
Yeah, you can't just set one up off the pat.
Okay, not like on Facebook where you can just set up a store. Okay,
Right.
gotcha. That answers that question. Thank you.
Any other questions for folks? All right, so looking at the, oh, sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
I don't have a question. I am going to do a shameless plug for Navigate.
That's where we're going next.
On the topic of AI. So on Tuesday, we do have our third AI workshop, and Larissa Holmes will be facilitating, and she'll be focusing on Claude and Perplexity. And then in the evening, we have an AI from Away panel. There's 3 very busy and accomplished entrepreneurs who are going to share, hopefully, their trials and tribulations and how they've incorporated AI. It's like a fireside chat. So like as I said, I'm a little bit discombobulated today because I'm not in my office or at home, and I don't have the link, but it is on our link tree. You can register for both events on our link tree. And I don't know, I could send it to Carol afterwards. I don't know if you're willing to distribute it, but anyways, I'm very thankful
Or
for
look
today.
up Navigate on Facebook. It's there. It's
Oh,
on.
right. I always never think that. Yes, of course.
Yeah. So if you go to
Absolutely.
their Navigate Small Business on Facebook on their business page, the event is there. It's a
Thanks,
super
Carol.
busy day that day because there's also a reverse trade show with the government vendors. There's a succession planning workshop in Rocky Harbor that same day with CBDC and Enlo and a few other places are coming together. I attended that workshop at Navigate a number of years ago. One of the best things I've ever attended. So really good session if you're on the West Coast looking at that. So it's the 18th, November 18th,
Tuesday.
Miranda.
Yeah, next
On
week.
Tuesday.
Thank you, Carol.
Toby, I just got CBDC's invite for your holiday event. So on December 9th, is it? I think.
Yes, it is.
So December
That
9th.
morning, actually, Enloe have their coffee break in the morning at the new hotel in Deer Lake.
Yes.
And that evening from 4 to 6, we have a Christmas social with BDC and Horizon NL at Snow and Roam. And
Yep.
registrations are coming rampant.
Excellent. So we'll get to see your new brand, Miranda, in the morning one, Enlo. Awesome. Terry Lynn, you've got workshops on the go. Do you want to let folks know about you alluded to it briefly when you introduced yourself, but you've got some stuff on the go?
Sure, yes, we do. We have lots happening actually. Outside of just our regular, go to our website, order products, we also do the workshops. So we actually have 27 workshops planned. Most of those are private, but we have collaborated with some businesses this year. So we're going out to Port to do a workshop at Secret Cove, and that's open to the public, and you can find that registration on our website as well as our social media accounts. We're partnering with the Massey Drive Recreation Community Committee, and this is our 5th year going to Massey Drive for 2 workshops, and that's coming up next week, and that's open to the public for registration. We've also partnered with Crimson Art Studio in Corner Brook for a public workshop. And we are going to host 2 public workshop days here at our farm. Our private workshops are for groups of 6 or more, and they're here at our farm as well as, all over Western Newfoundland. And we're also going up to Bayvert. No, not Bayvert, sorry. We are going to Bayvert for a private workshop, but we're going up to Port au Choix. We're partnering with Norpen, the women's organization up there, and they're hosting a workshop for us, and that's coming up soon too. And so we're all over the place, all over Western Newfoundland, because we're partnering. I do believe we're confirming 2 today, but 1 is going to be in Port aux Basques, and then I believe we're also going to Cafe 59 and collaborating with the folks at Cafe 59 for a workshop. So and none of those, Alicia, unfortunately, involve baby goats. But if you want to see the baby goats, you have to actually come to the farm. And we're somewhere after our workshop season is over, which is usually around the 10th of December. Then we'll get into, we're going to have some special family petting farm hours. And by then, we currently have 8 mama goats ready to give birth, actually, at any moment. They were due anytime after Saturday. So we are on baby watch as well as all of that. So it's a busy time here at the farm. But our family petting farm time will go right until Christmas Eve, actually. We will have some special Christmas Eve activities happening as well. It's something we started last year just on a whim, and we were shocked. Actually, in 3 hours, we had 157 visitors on Christmas Eve, which was fabulous. But
That's awesome.
To feel human, right? Oh.
Absolutely. And it was a lot of like grandparents spending some special time with grandchildren on Christmas Eve to give the parents that last minute time to, take care of some things. And so it ended up being really kind of a special day, and we don't have little kids at home anymore. And so for us it was a really great, and again, it was just on a whim. We had someone say, "Hey, do you think we could stop by the farm on Christmas Eve?" And it was incredibly successful, and we really enjoyed it. And I even went all out, and we had Christmas baby goats at that time as well. And so all the baby goats had on special Christmas sweaters. And because I'm that kind of farmer, anyway,
If your
I have
family
to get more.
if your family is like mine, check your back seat when you leave, because my family has a habit of wanting to convince Farmer Bill, Terry Lynn's husband, to put goats in the back seat of our car.
Yeah, so it's an exciting time. I'm definitely that farmer that likes to, go the extra mile, I guess, when it comes to the cuteness. So yes. And Alicia, if you are on the West Coast, please, if you have a free moment and want to make your way up to Deer Lake, let me know. I'd love to visit.
I love what you guys are doing in terms of like education, and the food programs make me so happy. I love the idea of real local food and, somebody working on it to make it delicious for me. I love it.
So our food programs came about because of COVID. I always tell people that, you always hear every day the negativity behind COVID. COVID was probably one of the best things that happened to us as a business, because it forced us to refocus our business. And so we had a lot of different things happening before then, and it made us focus more on food production. And I sat on the executive for the Federation of Agriculture for 10 years, and I firmly believe in, we're all successful if we support each other. And so our food programs aren't just about our farm and the products that we sell or that we grow. We want to support others as well. So we do focus a lot on including other farms, so whatever we don't grow, we get from other farmers within the West Coast, and we highlight them during our programs as well. So I love the food programs. Yeah, I love the food programs. Yeah.
Awesome.
But anyway, that's enough about me. Sorry.
No, it's all good.
Carol will tell you I get caught up in excited. I'm very excitable.
All right, well, looking at our time, we're 1 minute to go, so I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you so much, Alicia, for your conversation today. Really appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective and giving us some stuff to think about. And thank you everyone for attending. As I said right off the top, as long as folks want to gather, I will still offer this platform for us to connect. given what some folks are talking about and the fact that there's a lot of in-person things happening over the next little while, I most likely won't do a session in December. So we'll gather again back in January, and looking forward to entering our 7th year of our little community of connecting, and appreciate the support everyone's given. So on that, have a fantastic day and wishing everyone all the best in the coming months. And for those on the West Coast, hope to see you at some of the events that are on the go. And thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you
you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
See you
Bye.
Have a
later,
great day.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.